Hey everyone, welcome to the Ball and Chain. It's the 2nd of September, it's a Tuesday. We had an action packed, right up to the wire transfer deadline day yesterday. We're going to summarise the key transfers from across the Premier League, up and down the leagues, and some selected international transfers. That'll be the first part of the show. Then the second part, we'll have our usual dip into the markets, and then we'll close out with some final thoughts. Grab a drink, whether that's a coffee or something stronger, and we'll catch you on the other side. Just need to interrupt the show for 1 minute just to give you a polite reminder that our content is provided for education and entertainment purposes only. We don't offer financial advice, so if you do need financial advice, please speak to a financial advisor. Okay, back to the show. Hi everyone, let's start with our transfer debate and download from all the action yesterday. Before we start rattling through every single transfer or a majority of the high profile transfers that took place yesterday, I just wanted to go through some of the top stories that have been reported this morning. So as we talked about and reported yesterday, Jadon Sancho has now joined Aston Villa on loan. The details of that are now coming out, and it looks like it's only a loan. There's no option to buy, but this talks about selling percentages and stuff. So an interesting deal and package that's been put together. And apparently Sancho spoke to Rashford, who spoke very highly of Villa and Unai Emery, and that's what convinced Sancho to go. I just wanted to focus a little bit on Villa and Man U at the moment, just because there seems to be some relationship between the two clubs with, the last 2 seasons swapping players out on loan. And the interesting part that I wanted to cover actually was on Martinez. So we reported yesterday that there was strong interest from Man United with Martinez, or more. It seems what's coming out is it's the other way around. So Martinez had spoke to colleagues, the butcher at Man United. He'd also spoken to Almarin in the summer. So there was a lot of discussion. And I think Martinez, in his head, was thinking, I'm going to be a Man U player. They're going to put a bid in for me. Now, apparently, that bid never happened, and they decided to go with it. I think it's Simmons from Antwerp, from the Belgian league, and have recruited the man, but didn't go for Martinez. So Martinez was there in limbo. Kind of, I don't know whether he burnt his bridges, but I think there was a bit of animosity there between both sides. He didn't go. He's now not going. He's now staying at Villa. Where does that leave him? And for me, on a Man United side, I think it's baffling. Like, you've got a proven Premier ready, had a good season last season. Whatever you think about his attitude, because there's always been talk about him being, a bit of a character with opposition, and he's got a personality, let's say. And I don't know whether that's put Almarin off, but he's proven at Premier level. He had a really good season, a couple of seasons with Villa, and that to me would have been a bit of safety where you need it most in the net. But he's opted not to go for that. It's a bit of a strange one for me. What do you think, Man U fans and Villa fans? Do you think this is a mistake by Man U, or actually have they escaped a potential issue there in a dressing room that's already arguably a bit split? So would he have made it worse? And that's probably what Almarin is thinking. I need people a bit more subservient, who will bow to my sort of will, get behind me and support me. And maybe he didn't see Martinez as being someone who'd do that and cause more fractions in the camp. But what do you think, Villa fans? Martinez. What do you think? Are you happy that he's not gone? Do you think he can get back to that number 1 position? Man U fans, are you gutted that you've lost out on Martinez, or really happy with the acquisition that you've made? Let me know. I think that's a really interesting story that's come out of this thing and at this window. And also Man U, they've been interesting. Their business they've lost a lot of players, not really recruited for them, but with the way Almarin plays, maybe that's okay. We'll go through that as we go through the transfers though, and do a bit of a focus on Man U when we look at their transfer business shortly. Just a bit of breaking news. Wharton's pulled out due to an injury during the Crystal Palace game with Villa. So he's now being replaced by Ruben Loftus-Cheek. An interesting one there. Loftus-Cheek had been frozen out for a while, went to formerly Chelsea, now at AC Milan, apparently doing very well there. And now he's been rewarded with a call up to Tuchel's England squad. What do we think? That a good call up? Is there better people that could have been called up who have been omitted? Let me know what you think in the comments. Let's just scroll down. So Fulham, a couple of good signings on transfer deadline. You got Kevin from Shakhtar, who we're reporting on later, and you've signed up a Bayern Munich young striker on loan with an option to buy, Kusi Azeri. So let's see. Don't know much about him, but obviously it's another talented acquisition. And I think Fulham have got two good strikers. You've got Muniz and you've got Jimenez, but now you've got a bit of competition for those. What do you think, Fulham fans? Good signing? Not a good signing? Let's see. Donnarumma has been all over the Sky Sports website this morning. I think he was the last one actually to be confirmed. So I think that paperwork got actually confirmed this morning. Edison going in the other way. He's going to Fenerbahce. And one surprising transfer this morning for me was Akanji going to Inter Milan. Not him going to actually Inter Milan. I think that's a great bit of business for Inter on loan. But surprising Man City. I thought he was always a solid defender. But towards the back end of last season, Guardiola seemed to fall out of him. I don't know what's going on there. City fans, can you help me out there? Why is Akanji being frozen out? Why have you got rid of him? You paid, I thought you got a good deal on him. He seemed to perform really well, but for some reason, he's out of favour with Guardiola. Not sure why. We reported on the Matt O'Reilly loan to Marseille yesterday, and also Agard has permanently left West Ham as well. We'll report on that when we start to deep dive a little more. More on Donnarumma, 26 million. I actually think that's a really good deal for an experienced but also still young keeper. I think that's a good deal for them. They've recruited two very good keepers, Trafford and Donnarumma, Man City. Edison going, didn't think it was that bad, but again, Guardiola's fallen out with him, really fell out of favour with him. So a good, I think it's 8 years at the club. 7 signings for City. The final one was Donnarumma, taking their total spend this year to 185 million. This transfer market, not this year, because they also invested heavily in January. But 185 million spent during this transfer window by Manchester City. City fans, what do we think? Good business done, or are we missing out there? Tell me what you think. I think they've made some good signings, to be honest. We reported on Martinez. Obviously, Villa are going to come out and say they're happy to keep Martinez. You don't want to ruin the camp, but very surprised that that Man U didn't go for that. I know he's 33, but that's not all for a keeper, especially where Man U are. They had a good keeper for a couple of seasons, helped them be a bit more solid. You start from the back. I think that would have paid itself back, whatever transfer fee they paid, and then with the younger keepers could have helped with their development as well. So yeah, very interesting developments. Again, just going back to the Inter Milan signing Akanji, very strange one for me that Man City have let him go. Thought he was experienced, thought he was good. Surprised by that one, but good signing, good bit of business for Inter Milan. Marseille, De Zerbi coming back to the Premier League, taking players from the Premier League over to Marseille. A sale for it's a permanent deal, isn't it? It's left West Ham for the Moroccan international who's 29. Interesting. The West Ham signing for 30 million back in 2022. It's undisclosed the amount, I think, but still, I can't imagine them recouping 30 million. So bit of lost money. Went from France, gone back to France, so clearly he's got a good pedigree there. So he's probably going to fit and settle back into that league fairly well. Good signing for De Zerbi, experienced defender. Interesting that West Ham have decided to let him go. I know he'd not been featuring very much for them though, so maybe it's just recouping those wages and some of that transfer revenue back in to help them with the running of the club. We talked about Marseille signing O'Reilly. And he's still got, but apparently he's still got a Brighton future. They're just sending him out to get, obviously, more game time, and to play a lot more than he's going to get currently with Brighton. Okay, so that's just summarising some of the key stories coming today. Let's delve into the actual signings for each club in a little more detail, so we can see. So Arsenal, quite a few signings this summer. They've done some good business. Eze, Gokarayas, Mosquera, Mandueki, Norgard, Kepa, Arriva. Honestly, Arsenal have made some of the most challenging signings to produce, to pronounce, but that's okay. It keeps us on our toes. And they did get the loan deal over the line for Hincapié. Good signing that. Apparently a high related defender, did well at Bayern last season, and I think that's also had a knock-on effect because QR has left to go to Porto. God, I feel like Paul Merson here with my pronunciation names. Absolutely terrible. I'm failing miserably there. Jorginho left, we knew that. Tierney's gone to Celtic on a free. Surprising, but he wasn't getting much game time. So just picking out a few there. Vieira going on loan to Hamburg. There was a lot of interest from Prem clubs. That didn't happen. Zinchenko leaving to Forest, which was an interesting one last minute. But that's a loan deal. He's not getting much game time now that Calafiori is playing, and he played very well against Liverpool, I thought. Always looks threatening. Always looks like he's going for goal. Probably a good one to actually consider for your FPL fantasy team. He seemed very, very attacking. Reece Nelson, as we reported yesterday, gone to Brentford on loan. Villa, again, raiding Man United. They love a Man United signing, don't they? Lindelof, unattached, has gone on a free to Villa, and Sancho in the same direction, and also loaning Harvey Elliott. I think that's a good move for both parties. Great for Liverpool. He wasn't playing the first team, and with the attacking talent they've got, I think it's good to ship Harvey Elliott out to a good club, playing at a good level for the season. He'll definitely get more time, I'm sure, at Villa. And it gives him a great opportunity there. Let's have a look at what's happened with the outs and just pick some. Coutinho, not surprised, he's gone back to Brazil. Courtney House released. We've got Robin Olsen released, so some interesting releases there. Rico Richards going to Port Vale. Let's see what else we've got. Louis Barry on loan at Sheffield United. Jacob Ramsey, 43 million to Newcastle. Moreno signed and then gone. He's gone to Girona, undisclosed fee. Bournemouth, Petrovic signed from Chelsea. I don't think there was any new. I think Doak going to them for 25 million. Had a great season at Middlesbrough last season. Had a lot of interest around him. Can he make that step up to Bournemouth? 25 million, decent fee. Adli leaving Bayer Leverkusen to sign for 25 million as well. And they signed Alex Jimenez on loan from AC Milan. Looking at their outgoings, most of them, look at that, nearly 150 million recouped from 3 of their back 4, their starting back 4 last season. We did say we thought they'd struggle, but they've still got quite a lot of good defenders. They got Sensei, that's not in the Argentinian defender who stayed, and therefore losing Zabani and losing Hewson, they've been able to replace. And Kirkez has gone, but they've signed the left back from Rennes, Truffet, and that's decent signings there. So they've replaced where they needed to, and they've bought Diakite, who's a defender from Lille. So they've started to replace, but recouped massively. I mean, they've made some real profit. Great business, sustainable business from Bournemouth to recoup that amount of money. And look at the clubs they've gone to. That's definitely an upgrade in their career, supporting their development. You've got to say hats off to Bournemouth for doing that, for bringing players in cheap, being ultimately really successful, and then letting them achieve their career ambitions to go and play in the Champions League and to challenging competing teams. Fantastic. Jadon Anthony's gone to Burnley, and I actually think he scored at the weekend. Travers gone to Everton for 4 million. Max Aaron's gone out on loan, and I'd love to have seen him go to the Blades, but he ended up going to Rangers. Same with Ant-Man. Rangers seem to nick quite a lot of players at Sheffield United, which is Massively frustrating. Rothwell has left to go to Rangers, another one. Neto has gone, the goalkeeper has gone back to Brazil. We know about Atara leaving to go to Brentford, 42 million. Interesting. So, speaking of Brentford, they've signed a player from Fiorentina, Coyote. Who else? They've got Kelleher in net, who a lot of people seem to have transferred into their dream team. Kid from Feyenoord, and then Reece Nelson on loan, and obviously brought Jordan Henderson back to England, and he's also suitably got called up for an England club. Not really sure about. For me, I think Henderson's a good signing to steady the ship and replace the player that went to Arsenal, Norgard. But not sure about him in an England shirt. I think he's done a job for Liverpool, done a job for England. I think his time's done. I don't think he should be in the England squad. That's just my opinion. Let me know what you think, England fans. Do you think Hendo should be in the team? Jordan Henderson, I'll say, not Henderson from Palace, who's a fantastic keeper and definitely needs to. Dino definitely needs to be in the England team. Outgoings, and Bueno to Man United. I think that got talked about. Norgard we just talked about. Flecken going to Leverkusen. Ben Mee, who's been released, I can confirm he's gone to Sheffield United. That was confirmed as the last transfer in for Sheffield United yesterday. Roslev's gone to Southampton and he's been playing. And Visser got his deadline day wish. He'd frozen himself out. Got his deadline day wish into Newcastle. Brighton. Let's just canter through these a little bit quicker because I appreciate we're on a timer, we're on a clock. Let's pick out any signings. I think they've just strengthened, haven't they, Brighton? They always seem to recruit really well. Not crazy amounts spent apart from the kid from Olympiacos at 31 million. But in comparison to others, let's have a look at Dingra, 20 million. Pedro, obviously, great signing for Chelsea, 60 million recoup back. I think they paid about 20 million, was it, in the first place from Watford, but great signing that and a fantastic bit of business for Chelsea. Estupinian has gone to AC Milan. So look, anything else really big, major? Lamptey was a surprise to me, going for 6 million to Fiorentina. I know he struggled for game time, but I think that's a good signing for Fiorentina, and also a good move for Lamptey, giving some game time, see if he gets back into contention for the England team. Simmer leaves to go to Lens for 4 million. So, some good business done by Brighton, as always. Brighton fans, what we're thinking, a lot going out there, quite a few on loan, and a few coming in. How do you rate your business this year? Any good? Not good. Burnley, newly promoted team, always tough when you first get promoted. Show a lot of intent. Who are you going to buy? Who are you going to get rid of? So let's have a look. They have basically consolidated quite a lot of their players they had on loan last season. So Jadon Anthony, Marcus Edwards, Zian Fleming, all were on loan last season. Obviously contributed towards their promotion. They've rewarded them with a permanent signing to the club. Kyle Walker coming in, lots of experience. Debate whether he's still Premier League quality. I can't believe I'm saying that, but he's made a lot of errors at the weekend again. Struggled again against Man United. And was there was some controversy around some of the fouls that he gave. Should there have been penalty? Should it been a red card, etc. So interesting sign. I think a lot of experience to Burnley though. So for Burnley, I think it's a cracking signing, and I think he gets a lot of hate unnecessarily. Let's have a look who else. So continue to strengthen. Getting Borgia. I think Borgia was about 16 to 20 million. Good signing, decent striker. See how he gets on. Brun Larsen, I think he was on loan again last season, and was signed, if I'm right, and then you've got Dubravka. Good signing, solid keeper, experienced at this level to replace Trafford, who went to Man City. Josh Brownhill got released, Nathan Redmond was released. Redmond was training with Sheffield United, didn't ultimately get offered a contract. They lost Egan Riley on a free to Marseille, which I think was a big shock. He would have contributed with SDV in their defence last season and was absolutely solid. I'm sure they're gutted that he's gone, but you can't do anything sometimes on free transfers. It's just the way it goes with player rights at the moment. Chelsea, lots of business done by Chelsea. Big spending Chelsea, as always. They never spend small amounts, do they? Every transfer they've made has been over 10 million. So Jamie Gittins signed from Dortmund, apparently a baller. Not seen much of him. A lot of appearances from the bench so far, but I'm sure we'll see more of him as the season goes on. Pedro, we've already seen a football manager's Premier League fantasy manager dream, 60 million. Delap signed, got injured at the weekend, 30 million, still a good price for a young English striker. You normally have the English tax, don't you? So 30 million is a decent signing. Hato's gone from Ajax. He's, if you play Football Manager, he ends up being a right player. I think someone's obviously been on Football Manager here because Estavio, again, class. Sarr, again, class. Garnacho, it depends which save you get, but he's often good. I reckon Chelsea are just going through Football Manager saying and fast forward in 10 years and saying, right, who's the shit out signings here? We're just going to go for them. I suspect that's what it looks like. That's what they're doing. They're playing Football Manager and picking the best signings from there. And Todd Bowley is just going through there and thinking, right, I'm just going to buy every good young player who makes it and hope that plays out in real life. Bit of a gamble, but it seems to be working out for them so far, doesn't it? So some very good signings there. It's Chelsea. They're going to spend, and they're going to spend big players. Will they all knit together? Will they all work out? I think that's the question that's going to be answered towards the end of the season and over the next few years. Notable exits. Well, we've already talked about Petrovic leaving to go to Bournemouth. Kepa going to Arsenal. Madueke going to Arsenal. Dewsbury Hall going to Everton. Burnley signing a player from there. Burnley signing a couple of players, like spending 43 million from Chelsea players. Renato going for 26 million. Chukwuemeka going for 24 million. Gilchrist going for 1.2 million to West Brom. That is an absolute bargain for West Brom. It was at Blades last season. My view, he's not a right back. I think he's a centre back, but he's a good player. I think that's a bargain for West Brom, actually. They've recruited very well again. And Cuckoo has gone to AC Milan for 36 million. Matos was reported exclusively yesterday as soon as it happened. Gone to Sheffield United. I think the fees around, I don't know, it's been mooted between 10, then 8, then 5. So who knows? It's really unhelpful when they put in disclosed, isn't it? And then Nicholas Jackson, he actually went. He did go. They recalled Guay. And they decided to let Jackson go. I don't know. Was that bad? What was that smooth criminal? Who knows? But Jackson has gone to Bayern Munich, and Ben Chilwell has gone to Strasbourg. Not surprised that Real Mourinho has taken a chance on him. I think that's a great bit of business. They are playing European football this season, but surprised they've let him go. But I know he was out of favour. I'm pretty sure they've probably not recruited what they paid for him. So it's a shame, but hopefully Ben Chilwell can kickstart his career and we can see some of the form that we saw for him when he was successful at Leicester. Crystal Palace, Sousa's come in from Ajax. Pino's come in, very talented player. I think he's a direct replacement for Eze. Very talented player. Highly rated, and he also ends up pretty good on Football and Champ Manager if you play that. Uche, Getafe, don't know much about him. Let me know in the comments, Palace fans. Is he good? Is he crap? Are you happy? Are you upset? Out, Eze's gone. That was all. That all happened very quickly. Schlupp's gone to Norwich on a free. Rob Holding's gone to Colorado Rapids on a free. Again, we was hoping the Blades would sign him. We didn't, but we've done pretty well this summer, so I'm definitely not going to complain. Edouard leaving last minute to go to Lens. He's not worked out as probably best for both parties that he left. Franca going on loan again, the highly rated Brazilian, going back to Brazil, get some game time, hopefully come back next season, much better player, very young talented player. Everton, I said yesterday I thought they'd done bits this transfer market. Really impressed with the business they've done, impressed with David Moyes. Like I say, Everton are my surprise package this season. Alcaraz from Flamengo for 12 million. Barry from Villarreal for 27. Travers, Dewsbury Hall, good signing. Grealish, cracking signing. Tyler Dibling. It was back and forth all summer. They've got the man. 42 million invested in him. Outgoings, Neil Maupay. He's always an interesting character, isn't he, Maupay? The original, well, up there with Vardy being a bit of an S-house. He's gone to Marseille, and he will be reacquainted with De Zerbi, who I think signed him at Brighton. Let's have a look at any. Begovic has gone to Leicester. Holgate looks like he's signed for a Saudi club. Lots of free transfers, which I think we knew were going to happen. They needed to get people from the wage bill. Surprised Decore's not been snapped up. I would love to see Sheffield United grab a hold of him. I think he'll be holding out though for a Premier League move or a European move. Calvert-Lewin's gone to Leeds. No comment from me on that one. Especially Calvert-Lewin as well. Okay, Fulham. You've got Kevin, you finally made some transfers. Not much business in though, 3 players in. Did you really need it though? Maybe that was a surprise that Pereira's gone for 8.7. He's been a class player. yeah, worrying that he's gone 8.7, but I think he wanted to go to Brazil, and I think we're causing a bit of trouble, so no, I guess it's not surprising. Vinicius release wasn't getting much game time. William Ruiz knocking on, not surprised. So lots of release. So a bit of I don't know. You spent 34 million. Is that all right? Fulham fans, let me know. There's not much there compared to other clubs, but maybe you didn't need it. Let me know what you think. Leeds signing quite a few players, as you'd expect. They've just got promoted. You need to strengthen. I thought Sean Longstaff, I'll just pick him out. Good signing from Newcastle. Good Premier League player. Still young. Good bit of business to get. Calvert-Lewin, if he can stay fit, proven Premier League goal scorer. James Justin, good fullback from Leicester, Premier League proven as well with lots of potential. Okafor, again, very fast player from AC Milan. Another player, if you've ever played FIFA, you'll know his pace and usually gets an upgrade card most years. Read from that what you will. We'll see how he gets on for Leeds. Don't think he particularly impressed against Wednesday, but then again, nobody in that Leeds team did in the EFL Cup. Outgoings, not much spent, much recouped, should I say. Lots of bit surprised. Junior Firpo's been released again. Another good player. I'd love to see Blades have a go at him, but maybe it's just the cost of him. Bamford released, good. Hope he doesn't find a club. Interested to see Sam Greenwood has gone to a Polish club, I think. Looks like it to me. Interesting sale, that, isn't it? Interesting that he's gone there. Okay, Liverpool. Liverpool have done banging business, haven't they? Look at the money they've spent here. So Kirkes 40 million, Wirtz 116 million, Frimpong 30 million. The goalkeeper from Valencia, I'm not even going to pronounce that, 30 million. Akite 80 million, got off to a cracking start. Freddie Woodman coming in from Preston, interesting. Good keeper though. Leone, young defender, 26 million, and then the big story of this transfer window. It's got to be the story of the transfer window. Is in, is not, is in, is not. It's finally been confirmed. Isak to Liverpool, 125 million. Outgoings, Darwin Núñez didn't really work out for him, did it? He's gone to Saudi Al Hilal. Trent Arnold was going to sign on a free. I think they've done well to get 10 million. You might as well just let him go and get a bit back. Good business. Kelleher leaving for 18. I think Woodman's coming to replace him. But they've also signed a couple of keepers, so I think that's good business that they can get 18 million for him. Good move for Kelleher as well. Gets getting first team football now. Kwanzaa's left to Bayern Leverkusen. I was pretty shocked with that, but I think they've got a buyback clause in there, so it's good experience for him. Diaz going to Bayern Munich. Again, surprised about that, but when you look at the business they've done, good to recoup that 65 million in there. Tyler Morton, heard the Blades were interested in, but he's gone to Lyon, 15 million. Good move for him. A lot of money to put out for a young player. Let's see how he gets on there. Doak, very highly rated, but obviously not at Liverpool's level when you look at the transfers that they're signing. He's not going to get, as a right winger, I think, so he's not going to get above Salah, is he? So he's right to go and get first team football. Fair play to him. Nat Phillips going to West Brom for 3 million. City, we know about some of their signings. Big signings, as always, with City. So Rangers going for 46.3 million. Al Nouri, 36. Bertinelli in a free. Obviously, he's just going to sit on the bench for the rest of his life. Serki, 34 million, class player. Naipan, again, another football manager. He ends up being a class player. We'll see if that works out. And then the two keepers coming in. So they signed 3 keepers over the course of this transfer window, City. So really revamped that position and looked to strengthen. De Bruyne left and he signed for Napoli to join Scott McTominay and the revolution that Conte is doing based on their league win. They did very well last season, Napoli, didn't they? Going to be a force to be reckoned with, I think, in the Champions League this season. Edison gone to Fenerbahce. Kanje gone to Inter. Carson's been released. Kyle Walker gone to Burnley. What else? McAtee going to Nottingham Forest. Anyway, no, I'm not going to say anything. Jack Grealish gone to Everton, who we talked about already. And Callum Doyle, big spending Wrexham. They have spent an absolute bomb. And they've also loaned Kabore. So Wrexham really showing intent for a Championship club, spending like a Champions League or a Premiership club. You've got to say. Man United, Mbueno, Kuna, Leon, Sheshko and Lamens in this transfer window. So on paper they look really good signings, don't they? But in reality, who knows with Man U at the moment. Garnacho gone, Ericsson, Evans, Lindelof all released. Rashford on loan at Barcelona. How's that going to work out? Let me know what you think about Rashford, Man U fans. Any good? Lost it. Should get rid. Højlund has gone to Napoli. Again, Napoli doing bits, building. Anthony's gone on loan. Has left again, but this time permanently. So he's out of the scene. Could that help the dressing room, losing potentially a difficult player? And Sancho on loan to Villa. Newcastle's transfers, well, this year, don't know, are we happy with the business that's been done, Newcastle fans? Some last minute signings in Voltemade and Visa, so your striking options have been rebuffed. You've got rid of Wilson on a free, and you've also sold Isak for a record transfer fee. But you have replaced, are they good replacements? I guess with Voltemade, it's difficult to know. Young player, absolute giant, is the German Peter Crouch, I think, isn't he? So it'll be interesting to see how he gets on. Jacob Ramsey in from Villa. Thiago in from AC Milan. Talented young defender. And Ramsdale on loan. So going out, you've had Lloyd Kelly, who's gone for 20 million to Juventus. Jamal Lewis has been released. Callum Wilson's gone to West Ham. Longstaff to Leeds. Dubravka has gone. And Target on loan to Middlesbrough. Okay, let's now cover the Forest transfers. Ndoye in from Bologna, 34 million. He's got off to a good start. Few assists to his name already. Igor Jesus has come in from Brazil. Quite a lot of signings. Not sure about some of this. Yaya Cunha. Again, some signings from Brazil. It worked out with Danilo. Are these going to be as successful? Angus Gunn's come in to join the squad. Kali Muendo from Rennes, again another good player on on Football Manager. We'll see how he works out in adapting to the English game. McAtee, good signing, absolute bags of talent, great player for Sheffield United. Unfortunately, Forest have done it again, same as Gibbs White. We've lost. We weren't asked to buy, but you know when you get good players on loan, you sort of fall in love with them. It's always horrible, isn't it, when they go to another club, especially when it's Forest with their track record at the moment with United. Hutchinson has gone from Ipswich. Again, big money spent here. Look at the money spent by Forest. Real ambition again shown. Louise on loan. Good signing that with an obligation to buy. Don't know much about Savannah. Juventus. What do you think? Good signing again. Another signing from Botafogo. Are they a feeder club for Forest? They look like it at the moment. Back with 34.7 million. And then a final deadline day move for Zinchenko. Good signing there. Outgoings, we've got Newcastle signing Alenga for 55 million. Truffalo being released. We've got Tyler Binden signed for Sheffield United. Upcoming player from New Zealand. Lewis O'Brien left to go to Wrexham pretty much early on in the season. And Matt Turner signed for Lyon for 6.5 million. Emel Daniels' contract mutually terminated. Thought he was a good player at Watford. Never really worked out, has he, for Forest. Sunderland, Xhaka in. Adingra in. Diarra in. Lefebvre in. I mean, some real business here. Ronaldo signed from Atletico on a free. Talbi, Club Bruges. Rose, 11.5 million. They did sign him, Guay, but he's actually been recalled by Chelsea already. So that's choked off. So in response, they've gone and signed some players. Bertrand Traore coming last minute for 2.5 million. I think that's a really good deal from him. Robbery, really good player. Not a Robbery, definitely a snash and grab signing with him. Decent player. And then Gertruda, again another Dutch player. So two players there from the Dutch national team, and two players from Ajax. So they've finished off. I think Sunderland have probably arguably had the best bit of business I've seen from a promoted team in a long time. Players out. Tommy Watson has left to go to Brighton. I'm not saying anything about him. He was the one, for those that don't know, he scored the winning goal in the playoff final to send Sunderland to the Premiership and condemn Sheffield United still to the Championship. And arguably was the nail in probably Chris Wilder's coffin, which was really unfortunate for us as Blades. But fantastic finish, came on, took his goal, great send-off when he was leaving the club. To leave the club with that as his lasting memory. Joe Bellingham went to Borussia Dortmund, 32 million, but argue that they've recruited very, very well. Suddenly they're going to be, they've stand the best possible chance of a promoted team at staying in the league, which has got to be your first and foremost priority when you get promoted. Consolidate, stay up, and then start to build from there. Tottenham, lots of transfers going through with Tottenham. Spent quite a bit of money. Kudos 55 million, Simons 51. Where's Colo? Colo. Yeah, I think they signed the kid from Colo is it Monday from Paris Saint-Germain. That's not come on here, so maybe that didn't happen. I thought it had happened. Now I'll have a look at another source to confirm, but I'm sure you've got the PSG striker as well. Tottenham fans. Danzo's come in. He was on loan. You've obviously made that permanent. Tell was on loan. He's been made permanent. Kudos coming in. Palhinha, good signing. Jaiman's excellent signing, 51 million. When you look at some of the prices of players moving for today, I think that's a decent bit of business, that. Obviously, it's all stupid money in football, but 51 million, not a bad signing, that at all. Heung-min Son, 20 million. He's gone. Surprised about that, but he's knocking on. No, I guess I shouldn't be surprised. Højbjerg to Marseille. Forced to release. Reguilon released. Spent a lot of money. He's gone. Whiteman released. What else we got? Any notable signings? Dorrington going to Aberdeen on loan. Very good player. Kiel leaving on loan. Solomon leaving on loan to Villarreal. Was on loan at Leeds. There was talk about him, but he said he didn't want to drop down to the Championship, which is why he didn't move there. West Ham. What you done? Tadebo's got signed permanently, 35 million. That a good sign. I think Diouf from Slavia Prague for 90 million. Apparently he looks a good signing. Kyle Walker-Peters on a free, and Daniel Cummings on a free. Callum Wilson on a free. Hermansen 18 million. Fernandez 42 million. And Igo Jura on loan. And a kid from Monaco for 17 million, Magassa. Outgoing, so interesting money. Not too much spent really. Probably 100 million, but for a Premier League club, it's not a lot, an established Premier League club. Maybe it's about consolidation, especially when you've recouped 55 million from Kudos. But interesting. It looks like, you look at some clubs who are starting to do a bit of consolidation, closing out, re-evaluating and refreshing the squad. I kind of feel like that's what West Ham need to do. I think they've got their oldest squad, hadn't they, in the Premiership? And you can see a lot of these players who've been released were some of those older players like Fabianski, Antonio, Cresswell, Kufau. Some of the older players in the squad have gone. Danny Ings leaving to Sheffield United. I think that's a good bit of business for Sheffield United. Very experienced striker, dropping down to the Championship. Very experienced at that level. Zuma going. I didn't think there was a cat in hell's chance that he'd leave, but he has done. Sorry. Okay, let's move down. And Norgard we reported on earlier. So Wolves, I think we're nearly done. We're nearly done here. Yeah, Wolves is the last thing we need to go through. Lopez in from Celta. Strand Larsen permanently in. So there was talk they had the loan with the option to buy. I think they've done a great bit of business buying him. He was going to immediately get sold to Newcastle. That didn't work out. So we've now got that confirmed. Arias has been brought in from Fluminense. He's rated very highly. It'd be interesting to see when he adapts to the Premiership how well he gets on. David Moller-Wolf. And another player from Genk. So no big name signings apart from Strand Larsen. Obviously, he had a really good season last season. And Arias is very highly rated. Watch out for him. I think in the latter part of the season, once he establishes, he might be a bit of a game changer for Wolves. But again, I'm worried about Wolves this season. They've lost Kuna, they've lost Alnore, two arguably very good players, recouped 100 million. Where's that been spent, really? I don't know how much they paid for the kid, for Strand Larsen, but if you total that up, it's probably 100 million, so they probably broke even. Semedo's gone, released. I think he's gone to Besiktas or Fenerbahce. I know he's gone to Turkey. Tommy Doyle gone to Birmingham on loan. Judging from the manager's comments about Tommy Doyle, which I think were really unfair, I think he's a good player. I don't think he'll be coming back, although definitely believe in. Sarabia released. I thought he played well last season. Very surprised that they've not kept him on, but he's gone. He's gone to Saudi. Tom King's gone to Everton, and Fabio Silva, the striker, who every football manager seems to do amazing. Never seemed to happen in real life. Is he a Darren Ede? One of those players that on Championship and Football Manager was amazing, but never actually hits it in real life. A bit like Samba as well from Millwall, never really made it. But Fabio Silva has signed for Dortmund. with them losing, I think Mokoko, another Football Manager Championship manager gem who's gone to Copenhagen. Can Fabio Silva actually fulfil his potential at Dortmund? If he's going to do it anywhere, it would be Dortmund, wouldn't it? Okay, that concludes the Premiership. Let's just... Well, I'm going to do two things. I'm going to look on the site because I want to see if that transfer went through for Spurs. I can't see it on here. I can't see it on there. Let's have a look. How's he gone? Oh, Harvey Elliott on loan. Liverpool Villa. Great signing. I think we talked about it already, actually. Let me have a look. Has he gone? Yeah. Rando Kolo Moane has signed on loan to Tottenham from PSG. And also another signing for Fulham. Chukwueze has gone from AC Milan. I think he's a right winger, or a winger was on. I think he previously was at Villarreal. Good signing for Fulham. Last minute brought in a few good signings, so done very well. You've got to check multiple sources, haven't you? Because a lot of this doesn't come through. Look, Tolo Arcadian gone to Wolves, 24 million. That wasn't reported earlier. Sky Sports, you need to do better. Okay, let's just dwell too much. I'm not going to go on Premiership. We'll go on the Football League. Let's go on the Football League and let's pick out some interesting signings that have happened, and let's just be as comprehensive. I want to cover as much as we can on this channel to support everybody who's a football fan of English football. So let's go through and pick out some signings. For me, I'm going to mention it, aren't I? Heim going to Wrexham, but this one, Jack Robinson, it's not Sunderland. Got that wrong. It's Sheffield United to Birmingham. Robbo, great servant for the club. For me, mid-table Championship player. Definitely not top table for Championship, and definitely not a Premier League player, but gives his heart and soul and wears his heart on his sleeve. Sad to see him go, but I think it's the right move for him, and I think if Sheffield United are going to move on to, I mean, they're not at the moment, but ambitious-wise, we should be thinking, challenging for that title or at least promotion and then Premiership. Jack Robinson's not good enough to play at that level, unfortunately. But a very good signing to a newly promoted team like Birmingham. Brings a lot of experience, brings a lot to the dressing room. I think that's a cracking signing for Birmingham, and I think he'll do great there. Let's have a little look. Again, Wrexham smashing it, aren't they? Spent a shitload of money this year. Wow. Let's have a look. Who else? Patrick Roberts going to Birmingham. Again, great signing. Birmingham and Wrexham have really shown some ambition this year. Luke Wolfenden, Ipswich to Coventry. He let Ipswich know that he wanted to leave. So they've cashed in on him, obviously. Right thing to do. And then Connor Chaplin going from Ipswich to Portsmouth. Good attacking signing for them. So Will Smallburn, good signing, Smallburn going to Millwall. Good for him and good for Millwall. Don't think he was getting the game time. So interesting that he's gone to Millwall. Aaron Ramsey, not the Aaron Ramsey who used to play for Arsenal. The other Aaron Ramsey has gone from Burnley to Leicester. Again, good signing for him. Good move for him. A lot of people, though, had him as the cheap midfield option in their FPL. Going to have to find someone else, guys. Ben Osborne, going from Derby Stockport, bringing through some very good players. Lots of experience, Ben Osborne. Gives his all. Do very well in League One for them. So who else? Who else we got? Will Dickinson on loan at Chesterfield. James Bree, Southampton Charlton. Let's just have a look, see if there's anything. Ben Mee, talked about that, going to Sheffield United. Corey Woodrow going to Wickham, replacing Kone, who I think they sold to QPR. They needed attacking reinforcements. They struggled for goals. Corey Woodrow, proven goal scorer, at that level especially. Quite a good player. I think that's a good signing for them. Other player, Josh Bowler, I think he went from Blackpool to Forest, so obviously sold him back. Decent player on his day. We'll see how that goes. Mark McGuinness gone from Luton to Sheffield United. That's the third Luton player to sign for Sheffield United this transfer window. Becoming a bit of a feeder club, but I'm really happy we've taken probably three of their best players. McGuinness, strong defender. Chong, arguably very good player, and also Abene, right-sided attacking player, very good. So I'm really pleased with that. And Luton fans, how are you feeling? Difficult, isn't it, when you drop down divisions, you start losing players. I guess we've definitely done well out of that. I'm really pleased. Joe Ironside, ex-Blade, leaving Doncaster, going to Tranmere. Great signing for Tranmere. He's a proven goal scorer at that level. I think that's what they need at the right time. Let's look down. Darko Gaibi, don't know much about him. Leads to Hull. Again, Hull bringing in reinforcements. For us, Lorient to Watford. Watford do seem to pick in the foreign market to bring in. They don't really bring much from England or UK, whether that's because of the tax or their transfer policy. We'll see if that works out for Watford. Harry Leonard gone from Blackburn to Peterborough. Peterborough sat at the bottom of League One. Need reinforcements. Could be a good signing for them. Charlie Taylor going from Southampton to West Brom. Devante Cole, Andy Cole, the sort of amazing Andy Cole was loaded, Newcastle, Man U, great striker. His son hasn't really worked out for him. I think going to Port Vale and dropping down a few leagues to build his confidence and grow his game is a very good decision. Another notable signing is Idia going from Celtic to Swansea. Very good signing for Swansea. I think he's an ex-Norwich player, decent striker. That's a good shout. Again, Watford continuing their let's say a foreign policy. Another signing for them. Wrexham have actually sold somebody, so somebody going the other way. George Evans has gone to Burton. Again, Hull, very similar to Watford. They've signed someone from Besiktas. Let's see how that works out for them. Let's have a look. Crew reinforcing. I think he's a defender, Minge. From Stockport to Crew. Again, strengthening their promotion bid. Benny we reported earlier to Sheffield United. Ryan Loft going from Cambridge to Crawley on loan. Much needed reinforcement for them. They're struggling at the moment. I don't know. You tell me. You pick up things in this chat. You pick up things and put them in the chat, and let's have a bit of debate around some of these transfers that you're seeing that I'm not picking up on. Cyrus Christie going to Bolton on a free. Good signing for them. Fullback. Again, Ben Sheaf, very good player for Coventry. I think fans were a bit surprised that Coventry had let him go. He's gone to Wrexham undisclosed. Wrexham again flashing that cash. David Strelec going to Middlesbrough. Don't know much about him. Slovan Bratislava are a good team though. Solid in their league, usually in the top three, and also competitive at the first stages in Europe. So European football. Can't fault that coming into Championship. Matos, don't know much about him. I think he was on loan at Oxford last season. Reported it exclusively yesterday. As soon as the news broke, goes to Sheffield United for an undisclosed fee. And I think that wraps up Don Ballard going to Leyton Orient. And I think that wraps up our transfer special today. So, what do we think? Lots and lots of money spent. Lots of business done. The big winners for me are Chelsea, Man City, and Liverpool. Made some cracking signings, done some great business. I'd argue Tottenham should be up there as well. They've done all right. Losers, I think West Ham, Fulham, not sure about the business. And to some degree, Man U got rid of a lot of wing players. Is that going to harmonise the dressing room though and solve some of the challenges that I think Almarin's seen? Let me know what you think. And lower divisions, how's your business gone? Do you feel that you've done well as a Sheffield United fan? I'm really happy with the business that we've done. It's over to the manager now to sort his act out and get us back where we need to be. But who's your team? Let me know who you support in the chats. Let me know if you think your team's done good business or not. And let's have some debate. But that's the transfer window summarised and closed for this year. Back to business now, winning games and back to the league. And for the next week and a half, it's going to be international football. So later this week and in my next show, I'll probably be doing a review of the England team, giving an update on there as we prepare for the World Cup qualifiers and the international break. But for me, gutted not to have league football, but let's focus on what we've got in front of us, and that's the England team playing in those two qualifying games. Okay, let's move on to the crypto scene today. Overall, the market cap is up and trading volume looks to be up over the last 24 hours, which is all good news for everybody. Looking at the trending, World Liberty Finance got off to a cracking start but has really tumbled down in the last few hours. It's been fluctuating today, was up at one point, it's down now. I suspect that's because our friends in the US have come online and the sell-off started. We might see that rebalance as retail comes in to jump on this new release coin, but it's definitely a big loser today at 27% down. Top gainers, AI analysis token, nobody sausage, and meme core seems to be doing really well. Like whatever that is, need to have a look at that, because that over the last 3 days has been gaining a lot of momentum. Athena up 7.5 and BitGet token up 9.6. So winners and losers today. Let's have a look through the price action and the sentiment today. So this morning it looked to be up. Bitcoin had broken 110. It's now dropped down to 19. It's still up in the last 24 hours, but again, I think we spoke about this before. It really feels like we're consolidating at the moment, doesn't it? I think everybody's just waiting for the data points to come out this week. And even though, we focused a lot on the transfer stories today, I think there'll definitely be more coming later this week as more of that data gets released. And I think we'll see a lot of volatility this week. So don't be surprised to see it going up and down. It is Rectember, it is September. We know it's a very, very difficult month for crypto. Could go either way. Don't be surprised if we see some big corrections and things going down, apart from those real narrative stories that always break out and you get the odd one or two that performs really well in September. But I'm not expecting September to be a particularly good month for anything, for the market in general in crypto. Just scanning down, you can't see any big movers, can you? Even those blue numbers are like 0%, 0.1. Most are red, but only small red numbers. We're talking, 1%, 1.7% at max, unless something's really losing out. So not, on the daily, not much. On even on the 24, we're not seeing massive swings, are we? And even in the weekly, a lot's down, but we saw that at the weekend. We've got a few that are up. Apart from that, this one, Kronos, up 60%. We talked about that before. It's down this week, but had a big pump based on a lot of news coming out of the US and partnerships and such for Kronos. I think that's one to watch. For the remainder of this bull market, though, definitely Crow is something to keep an eye on, as is Story as well, which was another one that we covered yesterday, in terms of how that's progressing and the tokenomics around it, and also the performance around it looks pretty good. Matic, it'll be Pol, it'll be interesting to see how that shakes down this week. I think they've got an announcement happening in the next couple of days. So yeah, that's where we're at with the markets. It's pretty consolidatory today, which is on par for what we expected this week. I think, like I said, towards the latter part this week, I think we'll see even more volatility. Whether that's up, down, or left, right, who knows? Story and one up 40%. Story and Crow, I think, are the two big ones that have had a positive story. But they're peak FOMO at the moment. Everyone's diving in. I think we need to see how they shake down. Diving into a coin that's up so much is a big chancer. I'm going to be watching with bated breath what happens with World Liberty Financial. Again, it's Trump backed. Well, it's not. There's a lot of story around this one. Is it Trump backed? Isn't it? Definitely his sons have got something to do with it. It's not actually them who are launching the project. They're just affiliated and associated with it. But World Liberty is synonymous with the Trump family. And apparently they've already profited around $5 billion from this coin. I'm not saying anything from that. It does look a bit tricky, doesn't it? But let's see the price action and see how that performs over the course of this week and into the rest of September. Let's move on to those bubbles. Let's see how things are shaping up. So if we look on the hour, everything's looking pretty down. The last hour's not been great for crypto, to be honest, but you've got to zoom out a lot of the time. Let's zoom out. You see the big winners and losers here. Make a DAO is up there. Form is up there. World Liberty Finance down quite a lot. Maybe it's to sell the news from people. Trump down 6%. Again, sell the news now. It's been launched on World Liberty Finance, launched on a lot of centralized exchanges. It was launched on Coinbase and Binance, I think, today as well. So interesting to see that performance over the next week or so. They are talking about token burning. So is that going to help offset some of the losses on the price? Over the course of the week, look at this. PIF Network 42%, Crow 34%, IP 35%. I tell you what, this one, Meme Core, looking good, but who knows? It's all we've got. Anything to do with memes is bloody dangerous. Pump.fun up 30%. Over the month, I think you've got, the month, it's August, it's tricky, who knows? Look, nearly 100% return on Crow. Look at OKB, 253% up. Link, solid play, as always. Sol and Link, good ones for this market. Proven, Arve again, another one. I think the good projects always seem, or the big ones seem to always come through. Don't they? ETH up 24% in the last month. Not going to bother with the with the year, but the day one's interesting. Let's see how the story unfolds tomorrow with some of these stories that are emerging, especially World Limited Finance is one that I'm tracking this week. Just for entertainment purposes, it's a track. I did put a little bit of money in, not too much, just as a bit of a gamble. We'll see how that plays out. I did it when it was pretty low, so I'm not that much down. But we'll see if it carries on going down. I might have to initiate some stop losses because I don't want to get rugged. I don't want to get my ass rugged. Okay, the crypto fear and greed index, we're at 49 today. Interesting, it's gone up 3 from yesterday, so we've gone from fear to neutral, which is bullish, but we're not seeing that in price. It seems to have dropped in the last few hours. But when hardcore America comes online, should be online now, but they're just waking up. So let's see how it goes. We usually see this around lunchtime. I watch this a lot on the daily, as you can tell. Lunchtime it usually drops down. Towards the latter part of the afternoon it'll go up again. Around tea time for us, 5-6 o'clock, or dinner time. It goes down again, and then around 7-8 o'clock towards the evening it starts to pump again. It just fluctuates. It's crypto. It's the most volatile shit you're ever going to get involved in. It's been interesting to see it going up and down. But today we're at neutral, nearly at 55%. Let's see how that goes on. But definitely good to see it going in the right direction. Unless you want it to go to maximum fear, so you can go and load your bags up. But I think we're looking for greed around October, November. Peak bull cycle. Blow off top, big gains, close it out, end the year really well. I think that's what we're looking for. Who knows though, September's twists and turns are going to happen. I've got no doubt about it. Micro conditions, price conditions, project conditions, it all impacts. But Fear and Greed X is another great market indicator of where we're at, and to see it moving in a positive direction is going to be good for price, hopefully. So are we alt season? When Lambo? When alt season? That's the big question this market cycle, hasn't it? It's been a real thing. However, it's gone up. When I was looking last week, it was about 55. It's gone up to 63. We're edging ever closer towards alt season. Are we going to see an alt season this year? 63. We're teasing it, aren't we? We're teasing it. You look at the indicator here, and we're rising towards it. That was back in November last year. So again, look at this. It rose up. We didn't have it this good, did we? But if you look August to September, it started to move alt towards the end of it, dropped a bit in October. But look at that in November, it really shot up towards alt season. We got up to 86. Are we going to see that? Are we going to see that over the course of this year? Are we going to see it move towards? Let me move this along for you. Are we going to see it push towards that 75? Are we going to see it push it into the 100 and actually see alt season this year? Is it going to happen? I think it will. I'd be massively surprised if we don't see an alt season this cycle to some degree. I just wonder whether it'll be to the same degree that we've seen in previous cycles. Certainly, a lot of people are telling me it's measuring up to the 2017 season more than 21, which had a huge explosion for alts later in Q4 of that year. So are we going to see that? And are we going to see a huge gains on a lot of major alts, or certainly the narratives that are hot this year? What do you think? Let me know. Are we going to have an alt season? Is September going to be Rick September? Are we going to see a pump in October and November? What's going to happen? What do you think? What are your views? How do you see the market going? It's teasing alt season. It's teasing moving into neutral, which is a positive. Price action's not really showing it. Let's have a refresh on the next hour. Not really showing it. And are we going to see moves this week? It's consolidating, but are we going to see that move to the upside? Tell me what you think. Tell me where we're going. Let's have a discussion in the comments. Keep me posted. Don't forget, I'm going to close out now with this. Thanks so much for your time today and spending time. If you made it this far, you deserve a medal. Well done. But do me one last favour, if you don't mind. Please give me some likes, subscription and notifications. Then you'll never miss when I post. I might not post tomorrow. Might give you a day off and give me a day off. and I'll probably post again Thursday, Friday, and just summarise where we are. Probably more on the crypto market, but we'll do that little deep dive into England just to see how they're preparing for those qualifiers that take place over the next week or so. Have a great rest of your day. See ya.